All right, we are live. Wow, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday, August 19th. If you're watching us live, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are broadcasting all over the world. Can't believe we are here doing this. And I'm sitting in my amazing home office with my amazing new friend, student, colleague, amazing person, Kay. She's in her home in the good old Texas, right? You're in
Yes, near Austin, Texas.
just Austin, Texas, and I'm in Toronto, and we are here just like we were in the same room. It's amazing. So thank you for being here, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today, and I'm so excited to have you here. And thank you for everybody who's watching. We are going to talk about you and how you've turned your business around and how it's on a ramp up. Like I would say we're going on a ramp up, right? So it's a good thing. It's awesome. It's awesome, awesome. And we've only known each other for a little while. When did we meet? Do you remember how long ago we met?
Oh my goodness. So I actually met you on Kajabi about a year ago, and I watched you from the sidelines serve in such an amazing way. But I think I joined you more formally in May of this year.
Awesome.
Yes, but we've been in contact and communication for a while.
That is so awesome. And you've already so that's the prelude to what we're going to talk about there, right? Is the watching the sideline things. We'll talk a little bit about that because today we're going to talk all about Atlas and how it's helped you. One of the programs that I'm running right now. So why don't we just get into how you like a quick story of like how you got into this online business world.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So my background is I'm an energy medicine practitioner, and I've been doing that for 18 years. I had a clinic and a school. And right around 2010 or 11, I started really working with people that lived really far from my studio. So I started using old-fashioned tech like Skype and FaceTime and those types of things. Well, here we come into 2019, and I decided that a lot of the lessons in the healing journeys that I would take my professional certification students through, I wanted to make available to people because the world was shifting. We were beginning to go into what later became the pandemic. And I really just wanted people to have the best tools to heal themselves, to center themselves. And so I began looking at different platforms to create a healing journey for the layperson. And so that's kind of how I got into that and went down this journey of studying all these different gurus and trying the different things that they said works, and just really was getting nowhere, and in fact getting really discouraged along the way. So that's kind of how I got into all of this.
Wow. Wow. And so that leads me into my next question, which was, how would you describe the business, like your online business right now? Like, how was it before we started working together? And like, was it a success? Was it a failure? Was it like, what was it like? How did you feel?
Crickets.
Crickets.
Literally crickets. I mean, I had my true and trusted clients that would engage some of the products that I did launch online that were based on things that they were already working with. So that piece of it, I was having success. But the brand new program that I was really feeling drawn to really share with people at the deeper level, that particular product was getting no traction, no responses. My regular people were like, what is this for me? Because I had been coached to kind of follow trends and really had designed a product that didn't appeal to the people that I had cultivated relationships with for 18 years. And so I would post about it. I would try to engage people on social media, and I literally crickets. I mean, there
Really?
was no response to it, none at all. And we'll probably talk a little bit about this a little bit later, but I ended up totally scrapping that because that program that I was in was really what was driving what that particular product was, a product that was so disconnected from what my dream clients were and
Yeah.
are, and later just developed a product completely out of the air with your guidance. And that one has been taking off. I filled my cohort entirely, plus had one
Nice.
person prepay the next one, which was actually scaled at a higher price. And that was like just so unbelievable. How that changed my life was so incredible because it went from this state of feeling like, I'm so successful in these other areas. How could I be failing in this one area that is really so important in terms of being able to serve people in a deeper way? How in the world could this be happening? And I was really feeling just exhausted, burnt out. I was doubting the other part of my business that was actually working. I can't begin to explain how discouraged I felt. And I felt overwhelmed on a brain level, like I just can't even absorb any other information. And when you and I started talking, it was so amazing because it was as if the world suddenly became quieter.
Wow,
And
that's
all
so
that
cool.
other stuff that people said that I got to be doing, you said to me, no, okay, you can actually serve. And that's valuable. And you can do it in the way that fits your business. And the things you've been doing for 18 years actually do matter. Where I was told before, forget about that. Just do this the way we're telling you to. So what
Yeah.
a change. What a change this has been.
That is so awesome. And like, so, I mean, I watch you now and it's so great to see that. And, it's funny because I'm dubbed the Uncle Joey type of thing, right, in our tribe. And it's kind of cool that way. I've adopted that and said, you know what? It's kind of looking over my nieces and nephews and saying, yeah, you go, girl. I see what you're doing. You keep doing that. I'm so proud of it. It's kind of like a little family, I got to say, from my point of view. And how it's helping me just by watching you grow and everybody who's in the tribe growing um, at their own paces and doing the stuff that they love. And I see you in the last little while, especially the last month or so, becoming this dream client gurus or whatever you want to call it. This person who understands about dream clients even better than I do. And all the help and support you're giving other people to help them understand what a dream client really is. And that was a differentiator, wasn't it, from the avatar?
Yes, absolutely. Because, I had studied Avatar in a section of my business school that I teach to help graduates build their own practices. We talk about Avatar from the Chinese medicine perspective. That Avatar work is just the very taste of beginning to delve into what a dream client is. It takes it, an avatar to me sounds really cold. It's like
Yeah,
something on a piece of paper or in your head.
yeah,
Dream client, at least the way that you presented it to us, Joey, and you've helped us to see and helped me to see deeply, is really connecting with another human being and
yeah,
really truly understanding what their needs are at a profoundly deep level. And it's only when I was able to do that did I open my eyes to see my dream clients are right in front of me. I mean, they were just right there. And what that did is when I spoke to them about this idea of a project, it wasn't even born yet. It was just an idea of a project. Before I even finished the sentence, my clients were saying, yes, I want it. And from having heard crickets before, I almost fell on the floor, literally. It's like, what? Is this really happening? But it was because
yeah,
of that connection, because you connect from your heart with your dream clients. You connect with an avatar for something in your head. It's a totally
yeah.
different relationship.
That is so awesome the way you've described it. So yeah, I'm gonna steal some of that and use it in some of my marketing copy to explain it because you say it so well. And we got some comments here. Thank you so much. I don't know who that is, the Facebook user, but thank you so much for the comments. And marvelous. And Petra's here. Thank you for being here live with us. And this one from the Facebook user, thank you very much. Don't know who you are, but if you give StreamYard, if you click on that little link wherever you're watching, or you're watching on Facebook, it'll allow me to see or allow us to see who you are. So thank you so much for the comments. And I think this is one of your friends here, Kristen. Good to see you. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you,
So
Krista, for standing in. Yay, you get to meet Joey. Yay.
awesome. Hey, good to meet you, Kristen. Okay, so what I wanted to ask you is this: what was the point? Like, what was I guess, the point in your business or your struggles or anything where you decided, you know what, I need to make this business grow? Like, what made you realize that, and or even to pivot from what you were doing? Like, walk us through that a little bit.
Absolutely. And so the world was really changing, right? As a health practitioner, I was watching the pandemic come. I'm rather unique in that I'm half Japanese. So I was watching Japanese news and I
Okay.
was watching all of that unfold. And as an empathic woman, I was also sensing the great deal of angst, uncertainty that was in the world. And my soul just said to me, I have to serve at a deeper level. I absolutely need to do that. So that's where the drive to really bring something online, it wasn't about, I want to scale and make $1 million. It's like, I want to get these tools to the greatest number of people as possible. But I was being coached to think about really focusing only on women entrepreneurs. And it
Okay.
was only like 2 weeks into Atlas, during your Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central dinner with the boys, I call it. You and Scott Vocal have this
My man,
absolutely
Scott.
amazing. Yeah. And you guys really kind of walked me through. And this wasn't even part of your paid programming. This is just what you do to serve from your heart. And you kind of walked me through getting clear about what the dream client was and who I was really wanting to serve. And really understanding that by connecting in first with my inner tribe, that then there would be a ripple of helpfulness that would go from there, and it could be quite exponential. So that was really the pivot. And I was so amazed because I had just barely started Atlas and getting
Okay.
into the flow of the ideas that you were talking about. And so I pivoted from just dropping what I thought was going to be my healing journey that I was going to launch to really being open to doing the research that you taught me to do to discover what is it that my clients really need.
Nice. So you've probably already answered this one, but what was the biggest problem you faced before joining Atlas?
Yeah, the biggest problem was, how do I reach my dream clients? I felt really disconnected because I wasn't leveraging the relationships that I had already built. And in my head were all these complicated things about funnels and, having to really do webinars and all these layers of complexity. And I have that kind of brain that does not deal well with complexity. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you and
love
me both.
the world. So yeah, so that I felt like there was all this clutter in front of me that was between me and my dream clients. I could sense on some level they were out there, but how to go about even beginning to identify clearly who they were, and being able to uh, definitely connect with them at that deeper level. And then there was the other piece of, how do I go about communicating what this thing is that is not yet quite defined? So all of these walls were there between me and the dream clients. And not only that, but all of these walls were there between the life that I also wanted to build as an entrepreneur. I felt blocked on that level too. Things were
Right.
so complicated for me.
And so, like, what did you think about all those, those funnels or methods and the communication strategies before you invested in Atlas?
Definitely. Initially, I thought, okay, this is the way to go. And I launched February, was it this year, 2021, with being a speaker for a really large conference, a Central Texas African American Family Support Conference. And I had all these fancy funnels and the email sequences, and I had
Right.
all that stuff that they said you should do. But without having a clear idea of who my dream client was and how I really wanted to speak to them from my heart, what would happen is people would go into those funnels and it wasn't converting. It really wasn't enticing them to want to take the journey with me to just get to know one another. And there were a lot of resources that I had that they weren't just kind of partaking of, because all of these very cold, non-heart centered methods were really repelling them instead of drawing them to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such an important piece of this whole puzzle, is when you have that push style marketing, or just the standard. I call them the standards now. Like, the standards are no longer what we do in Atlas. We're the contrarian to the standards. And it, I'm not dissing any of them. Some of them, a lot of the stuff works. But for, at least for me, and I know for you as well, and everybody in Atlas really who are heart centered, it just does not align with what we want to do and how we want to show up in the world. So it's just a different approach. Doesn't mean that all the other stuff doesn't work, but this is working for us because of our heart-centeredness and who we want to really serve as dream clients. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And there's such a tremendous difference. One of the things that you often emphasize is personalization versus these mass mailings. And so on
Right.
the very last day of the conference, I did a trick. I now would call it a Joey way of communicating. And what I did is, instead of making them go through funnels, I just said to them in the chat, the platform we were using called Wova or Hoova. And instead of making them go through a funnel, I just said, here it is. And so those individuals that I shared in that personal one-on-one way, not trying to get them into an email list, not having an agenda, oh, I'm trying to get you into my program that I know I'm going to be launching, but just from that perspective of serving, those are individuals now that have invited me to come back to the conference,
Nice.
in free exhibition booths, and are inviting me into other opportunities. And so we are in this relationship that is really feeling nourishing and satiating both ways. So I really, really appreciate it when I came into Atlas that you said, yes, continue to be personal. Don't just, if you send someone something that's helpful, don't rely on an email chain to follow up, actually follow up with them in person.
Right.
That
So important.
helped me to really optimize my IG. You have really encouraged that level of personalization to where I leave voice messages now to follow up in my Instagram instead of some automated thing that answers it for me.
Yeah, you blew me away. I mean, I even told you about that because you gave me a voice message or something on IG, and I'm like, wow, this is like taking it to the whole next level. And I'm learning from you about the personalization piece. It was brilliant. It is brilliant. I love that. And you're so right. It made you just stand out because it made me feel special. Like, wow, I've got a voice message here who's from, oh my God, it's from Kay. What is this? And it was brilliant. So yeah, that's amazing. I'm loving that you're doing that kind of stuff and just taking Atlas and adapting it to how it works for you and your business. I think that's a real big important piece of what Atlas is that it's not this sandbox thing, right? It's like here's my sandbox, but you don't have to play in mine. Here's how I'm doing it, and let's share the sand. You can do it your way and take some of my sand and I'll take some of your sand and we'll make it all this thing, right? It's like it's all adaptable.
That's it. And that's really, really what I experience as setting you apart from other coaches and strategists is that you've really encouraged in me, and I know our other tribe members too, to make it our own. And that's something that I teach too as a Qigong teacher. I might teach you a movement or a certain sequence of things, but it's not really going to serve you well until you make it your own. And that's really what you encouraged me to do every step of the way. And with encouragement like that from not only you, but the members of the tribe, you've created this amazing space of support that just amplifies everything that I'm learning through Atlas. Through that, I've been able to really feel creative to stretch with the tools that you're teaching me so that they're really serving not just myself, but they're serving my clients or watching me on this journey, and they are all jazzed up. So the ripple effect is just exponential.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for saying all this. And thank you, everybody, for all these comments. They are amazing. Kay is such an amazing person. Thank you for being here live and all the props towards you, towards both of us, Kay. Everyone who are commenting, amazing. Thank you. We're talking a lot about like the props towards Atlas and everything that we're saying here, which is great. And you know me, I'm one of these guys who likes to tell the truth. Go figure. And so nothing's ever 100%. And it's always about like I want to put everything on the table for everyone. So I want you to let everyone know what were you worried about when you first bought Atlas? What was that thought going through your head?
Well, like anyone else, when you've gone through the experience, and I went through what I felt like was 7 months of crickets, there was that thought, is this really going to work for me? Is because I would try things and that would be pushed at me as this is the thing that's going to unlock everything, Kay. And I would put everything into it and then would see no results. So there was a piece of me that said, is this really going to work for me? The thing that really put that into the back seat for me was the very first class where you walked us with things where immediately my brain began to click. And even though you structure it where there's like what I would call, and maybe there's a better way to say it, Joey, but theory, and then there's an implementation piece, oddly enough, the way that you presented it encouraged me to begin implementing right away. It got me really excited. The information was so clear that I didn't have to wait for the implementation piece. I got so excited. It's like, oh, I see how this fits together. Let me go try this with some clients. And so I began to see movement. The needle began to move from that very first class. And so that immediately said, oh, I know this is going to work because I can feel it. And I can see that there's already a shift, even with the first class.
So was that the point when you said Atlas is worth it?
Yes, absolutely. But I think to really solidify it was maybe second or third class, by
Okay.
the second or third week, because by the second or third week, I actually had paid clients.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Where
so
before I had nobody, nobody even knocking at the door, Joey. So I was sort of like, oh my gosh, they've actually paid for it, you know. And it
this
was
is amazing.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
so
amazing. But I mean, with everybody watching and on the replay, and that's not the, I mean, I don't want everybody to understand that that's not the promise of Atlas, that you're going to get a paid client within 2 or 3 weeks. Some of you have gone through that and have gotten that. Some of you have done better than others and all that. And the whole promise of Atlas was really getting clear on the dream client and getting the cohort up and running so you can get the clients like within 90 days or so. I just want to make it clear that anybody's watching this like, oh, I'm going to get a client. I never promise anything like that. The goal is to get you at least a running cohort up and running in 90 days if you don't have anything, right? So anyway, just disclaimer there because you never know. I don't want to make false promises here, but tell us about like 2 or 3 aha moments that you had. I know you've like got a billion of them, but like
yeah.
which are the ones that really stand out to you that are your big favorites that you could share with us?
Oh my gosh. So, of course, really understand that the dream client is not someone on a piece of paper or in your mind, that is an actual human being that you connect energetically with. That's what allowed me to connect with clients that was in front of me. So, if you want to know, well, why did it kind of pop for Kay so suddenly? Remember that I was in business for 18 years. I did have some relationships. Because
Right,
of coaching, I stopped trying to go into cold markets. And that's another aha moment, that I never have to go into a cold market. Really leverage the existing relationships and then take time to build new relationships. So I've been building through social media from the beginning of um, the cohort, which we began in May. And I am not trying to sell to these individuals. I'm letting time unfold to build that deeper level of trust and relationships. And we are having joy and a blast along the way. And I know that eventually, wherever they fit in my world, they will come in and they will be really nourished and happy. And the other thing that was an aha moment, this was a huge challenge for me, Joey. I have multiple services and products, and I've always struggled to figure out how do they fit together cohesively. And in Atlas, you taught about this thing called the victory path, which kind of gives a lot of strategy of where your dream client is going when they finish this piece. Perhaps it's to this one over here or over here, but it gives cohesion on kind of like I experience it as an energetic level. So knowing that I had these different pieces and I have them, and I'm creating some new pieces from this process, really helped me to understand that I am in relationship with my clients for the long journey.
right.
I'm all about the flash in the pan. So that was another aha moment, because every other program was emphasizing sort of get the cheeks in the seat, and then you just really don't even know if they're going to buy anything else. And then the other programs really lack strategy about where do you take them next. And it's not all about the upsell thing and all of that. It's like where if I were them, where would I want to go next on my healing journey? Where would I want to go next to really expand what I've just learned and go even further? And so by keeping it a client-centered focus, which is another aha principle from the
Right.
program, I felt like it's brought my entire business, not just the online course piece, but my entire business into better cohesion.
Wow. Those are huge. I remember you mentioning the victory path to me in your description of it in the second version. You remember because I had you look at the quote unquote sales page
Yeah.
for the next Atlas, and you said, "No, you don't got it, Joey. The victory path, what you're saying, is much more than that." And you described it just like you kind of described it now. And I'm like, "Wow, that's I've never looked at it from that point of view." And you're right. That's what that victory path is. Because all these things, it's not like this is a magical thing that is all my inception of all these methodologies, or it's just taking all of the great things that are out there and getting rid of the fluff, putting it together in this new method, which is mine, and helping you and everybody that's in there get to the point where they actually do want to get to, which is releasing some kind of program and having some revenue come into their business, but working with people that they love, that they enjoy, because life's way too short to be working on stuff that you don't like with people you don't love. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's so much easier and more energetic to get up every day knowing that a dream client is on the other side waiting for you, or a bunch of dream clients, right, are on waiting for you on Zoom or whatever that looks like.
Absolutely. And it takes away the pressure. I know in the past, I've had some nervousness about engaging somebody new. Are they going to really resonate with what I'm doing? Am I going to be able to get that result for them? It's completely taken that away, because in the building of the relationship, I already know from having talked to them and based what I'm doing on their needs that it's absolutely going to satisfy them. So for me as a business owner, that takes a lot of stress off of my shoulders. And it also helps me to create tighter, more cohesive tribes within who's my client tribe, kind of even who is my business networking tribe, to really value that discernment, to say that it should be fun. And you always tell us that if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying this, not that there aren't moments where you're having to problem solve and you're having to work through challenges. This is just part of being an entrepreneur. We all hit dips. We go into that fog. That's a natural piece of this. But if you're not truly enjoying yourself at that core level, if it's not bringing you joy and you're not feeling that deeper connection with what you're doing, then you always say you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I really learned to flow with that. So there's a little radar that I call it my Joey radar that comes up. If I start to feel uncomfortable, if a colleague has invited me to do something that's a co-creative or collaborative work, and I start to get a little kind of uncomfortable, I really pay attention to that now in a way that's different than before.
And you alluded to this right at the top of this call, where you were talking about the sidelines, and you just said something there that I want to bring up, that when you're talking to your dream clients now and the sale is no longer there, the pressure of it is no longer there, and you said something about the sidelines. And so can you talk to that a little bit? Can you see that happening in your business, and can you explain it from your perspective to anyone listening to this, like what that really is and how it's worked?
Yes, absolutely. You talked about the idea of just serving, and that sometimes the person you're serving is not going to be that person that ends up buying your product, that often your dream client is sitting off on the sideline watching you do that thing that you do so well. And that's exactly how our relationship started. I was in Kajabi, and whenever different challenges would come up, I would watch you just come up with these ideas, and you would just gift them. And it would just completely help somebody turn something around. I was like, who's that guy? Oh, that's Joey Wagoda. Oh, who's that other guy? Scott Vogel. And I would watch that. And so I have always kind of had that as a way of doing business. But because I went through all of these other programs that told me that that was not valuable to do, that that the person that's in front of you, that's the person you're trying to close, forget about all these other people, but we don't exist in a vacuum. And so being able to kind of go back into that and feeling really good about serving, I find that, just as an example, in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, the admins have sent me really positive notes thanking me for helping people, because I don't
Wow.
raise my hand and say I do, empathy training and coaching. I just completely keep that out. I stay focused on what is this person asking and what can I offer that can help them. And then interestingly, I've watched colleagues from my old program come in and get banned.
Yeah.
Because they are not serving in that way. And what I noticed too is often the person, as you said, it would happen, that I'm talking to, there's someone else that's watching, and all of a sudden I get a text or I get a request to come into my Facebook group, and I'm like, well, how did you even find me? Well, I saw you were helping Sally over here, and I really liked what you said. So I'd actually like to learn a little bit more about what you do.
Brilliant.
Sideline thing is really so important, because if we can think about that idea that our energy goes out in ripples, isn't it amazing how many people that our eyes may not be seeing, that may not be right in front of us, that could really be benefiting from what we're doing? And that's how we expand that dream client vision.
Yeah, it's that invisible client you can't see, and that once you know it, it's not that we don't know it, but once it's pointed out to you, it's kind of, you can never unsee that again. And those
Yeah.
other methods where somebody says, look, here's what you do. You go into a group. Here's how you value. Here's how you get them and you pull them out of the group or you pull them over, whatever their methodology is.
Mhm.
Um, because they're focused, like you said, on that one close or however it is, that language. I don't really agree with that language. It's so hard. But, it's like, how do I get the ROI immediately today? And with
Mhm.
this methodology, as you know, that's one of the downsides. If somebody asked me what's the downside of Atlas, is that you really can't see the ROI immediately when you're going in and you're kind of doing the pre-fluence or the understanding the sideline, and somebody's watching you and you're giving value over here, and you look at, well, my bank account didn't grow today. You know what I mean? And if you still have that mentality, it's not going to work for you. Would you agree with that?
Oh, that's it. Absolutely. And so people that are coming in wanting that quick, I think one of the things you asked me was, what was my expectation? What would I hope to achieve? And I was really modest. I said, I hope to get three full pay clients into the cohort. Well, I got four, well, actually five, and that was amazing. But if you're looking for that short term, you're not looking to build your relationship with your dream client, because the relationship with a dream client is a long time. So the ROI is going to be stretched over a longer time. So
Right.
therefore, it's more exponential in terms of what is going to come back to you.
Yeah.
Not that we can't have success in the beginning. Like, I definitely felt that success rolled in, but I know that these are individuals that I will be in relationship 20 years with in the future. That
Yeah.
as
And it's also this fact that you,
Mhm.
yeah, it's also the fact that you can get like some kind of a return, like within, if you follow the steps. And I believe that if everybody does it, you could pretty much get some kind of result. But you're right that that relationship and the ROI of the dream clients expand, and it gets easier and easier as you continue to build those relationships, because the relationships build other relationships that you're really not involved with until they bring them in toward you, right?
Yes, yes.
And you've already seen that with some of the tribe who bring people into my world, and then I share it with you and say, well, here's how this all works. You see how that, and now you can see what the investment is. And we talk about that in Atlas a lot. Like, we have to invest in our clients before they invest in us, and that's part of the process, right?
That's it. And I mean, that's trust building right there. You know, the comments that I've gotten from some of the groups that I serve in, they're like, wow, you gave me something of such great value, and yet you weren't expecting anything back. To see and watch them bloom with that. Then they go out and tell three other people, hey, Kay has this tool over here, that can do this in 5 minutes, and then so they end up bringing business back to you, as well as eventually purchasing your products. And even if they don't, their friends do, so
Exactly.
it's a beautiful way of doing business. And it feels um, like the effects and the benefits that we share in this way are deeper. So
Yeah.
people get where they need to be more quickly, more easily, and in a way that really serves them best.
And they know that they can feel that it's coming from your heart, like you're sharing something from your heart, not just to get an opt-in or not just to get a sale from it, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
This
In
is a
fact,
great question. Oh, go ahead. No, keep going.
one thing I just wanted to say on that point, Joey, is I got a note from a client that I'm really enjoying nourishing, and I met her in another program, and she says, I remember when I first met you, and you said one of these kind of salesy things, and I almost didn't talk to you again. And then I
Wow.
watched you totally back off of that. And then I don't know who you're working with now, but I just really love that, we can do us. When you threw that other
Nice.
stuff into the mix, she says, you almost lost me. So it's really important, that we keep that heart centered. That's what people are needing, especially in this world.
Wow, that is so cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. I didn't hear that before. That's wow. That makes my heart sing so much to hear that. Congrats. Um,
Thank you.
this is a really good question. I was going to ask you this at the end, but somebody already brought this up. Where is it here? This one here. What would you tell somebody who's thinking about joining Atlas?
I would say to them, Atlas is that thing that can absolutely not just change that challenge with your program, whatever it is, whether it's online. I think a lot of these principles, they do apply to even business that's offline, right? Brick and mortar and all of that too. Um, but it's really that program when you really want to go deep and change your whole business life. And you want to change the relationships that you have with your clients. But I would also say that it's not for you if you're looking for that quick, easy, salesy thing and I want money back really fast. Because this is really about building those deeper relationships. So look
Yeah.
inside yourself. And if you have it within you to take that journey to really learn about yourself through this process, learn about how to really nourish your ability to connect deeply with people, because we all have these skills, but this is a program that will refine your self-knowledge as you're going through that process and you're wanting to take that journey, then Atlas is definitely the program that will get you there.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing that up as well. And it's not an immediate, all these big promises about making whatever it is at the end or in tomorrow's or next week, you take this and this happens next week. I just want that to be stressed because we're building a business that serves us, right? It serves we talk about that in unit 1, right? The dream business, our dream week, our dream days. And to me, those dream days are waking up and not having to worry about what's the next funnel, what's the webinar I got to go do, what's the upsell package and all these other things, where it's just like you wake up, you enjoy your day, and you get to talk with amazing humans every single day.
Yes.
Because they're your dream clients,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. And so let me thank you for that. And I want to get back to some hard truth as well. Because, as you know, nothing, like I said, is a bed of roses. So as you went through the Atlas process, what were the ups and downs? Like what did you struggle with? What were points that were down times for you, or fogs, as you like to say? And what was the mental process that helped you get through those things?
Yeah, I think the downside was probably, like I said, it's a process of self-journey, was realizing at certain points there are things that are deeply impatient about myself. And I consider myself a really patient person. And having the wherewithal to say, I'm going to give space. I'm very tempted to do a harder push here, but I'm going to actually step back. And while that can be natural for me, I can get anxious. I have
Right.
anxiety at times. And so, really, like putting the harness on my own wild horse and trusting the process, really coming to the group and being vulnerable to say, this is where I am or where I'm challenged. And also this process of listening to where others were challenged too, to see, oh, goodness, I can relate to that because I'm kind of in that boat too, was really, really helpful. And that's where I think, how this program differs than others is number one, Joey, we have you right there interacting with us. And then you've built this amazing tribe that just wraps in around during those dips. And there's not a program out there where you will not experience fog in a dip. This is
Right.
just part of the entrepreneurial program, but you've built into this way and process such a beautiful support system so that when those moments happened, the support was there at a
Thank
very
you.
deep level.
And is that one of the reasons why you didn't give up like 85% of this online world does? Like, what made you not give up? Even with it not just only Atlas, but what was it that made you continue to go? Like, what kept you going?
I think that's it, the tribe. I've always felt very humble about the idea that while I have superpowers and wonderful gifts, I cannot do anything alone. And although I have a higher healing power that I tap into, I'm a human being. I'm a social being, even though I'm empathic and introverted. But I need that support and love. And I need to know that those who are in my inner tribe really get the journey that I'm on and that we are willing to have those dialogues. That's the wind that allows me to continue to go on, that no matter what that obstacle is, I feel that I have this tremendous blessing of support. And for a while, I had lost that. So when I came to you, I was really quite discouraged. I didn't have the mojo in my step to run the marathon. And the
Right.
tribe, the supportive resources that you create with such safety, with such leadership to say that all ideas are acceptable, but let's put ideas out there with love and with the best of intentions. You really hold that in the space so well that really gave me my mojo back. And that's what kept me going, because there were points where I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just stick to what I used to do and just not even worry about going to this next level with online things. That was a thought. But having the tribe and the support system just wrap around in such a beautiful way really got me to the next level and continues to. I love coming into the tribe every day. It's part of my 4% things that I do each day.
And yeah, and thank you for that, because you're such an integral part of that tribe, and helping. You're doing way more than 4% in that tribe, that's for sure. And I'm grateful for you. I love you for that. And yeah, building the tribe was a big thing for me. That I'll tell you that all the time. And it's great to hear it back from someone who's in the tribe, who's been brought into it, and has experienced that thing. So thank you for saying all those wonderful, wonderful things about it. Just makes my heart sing even more. And thank you for all of the amazing comments, and everybody who's been here, who's just loving on you like crazy, because you're doing so many amazing things and you've got so much to share with the world. Like, tell us what it is that you do, so anybody listening to this can connect with you if they need your services. Like, what is it that you're doing?
Oh, definitely. So I'm a practitioner of Chinese energy medicine, but really what that means is that I help women who are empathic really navigate that journey of being seriously exhausted and anxious with these quick energy tools, from breath work to, I even have some of my oils with me. I'm a custom master herbalist, so I blend these things. And we go on a healing journey using these hands-on tools to really recalibrate our sensitive radars. We take those radars and we're able to filter more effectively and control the emotions that can lead us into spaces of being overwhelmed. So I'm just having a blast with that, because empaths are really highly stimulated and agitated right now. And so I'm loving being able to put these tools. I feel like I've been put here at this time with what's happening in the world for a reason. And
Right.
so it's just such a pleasure to take this gift of Qigong and energy medicine and really help transform people deeply.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Is there anything that I didn't ask that I should have asked you?
Mm. What was my favorite part of Atlas?
All right. What was your favorite part of Atlas?
So my favorite part is, and this is huge since I am more of an introverted person. I don't look that way, but I really am. So one of the
Go
favorite
figure. We're broadcasting to the entire world right now, but we're two of the most introverted people in the world right now.
Isn't this amazing? What we do to serve, right? But yeah, that's one of the favorite parts for me, was the coming together of our cohort each week, the different beautiful sharings that everybody brought such value and was bringing that vulnerability. I really feel like I have lifelong friends and lifelong heart connections. So that's one of my most favorite parts, that on top of all the wonderful pieces of business and transforming life, that there's this social heart connection at a time in the world when we really need that and when I needed it. So that was one of my favorite parts. And we still need to do pizza party with your
Yeah.
jam and tunes.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, that's, yeah, I couldn't say it any better. I totally agree with what you said, and this is why dream clients are so important to me, because you are all friends, we haven't met in person at all, but I can just see us at an event or at a gathering where it would be like old friends from high school joining together. I'm getting a lump in my throat talking about it. It's so important that we have these friends as clients as well, and it makes everything so much easier. Like I said, getting up in the day and knowing that you're going to meet these people and serve them in a way that your superpowers relate to them. And yeah, it's just like no expectations. It's like everybody wants to make money, everyone wants to increase their business and have more revenue and all that stuff, but the pressure's gone.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows you're there to serve them in the right way, rather than this guy or this girl is just taking my money and lining their bank account.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
So as the final, what would be the final thing that you would say to somebody who's thinking about stepping into a coaching program like Atlas? I know we've already asked the question, but what would you say to somebody who's thinking about joining an experience like this?
Yeah, I would say to really look into your heart and listen to your gut. You know, that's the thing that I really felt like my gut settled and I anchored and felt I could just feel that this was going to be transformative. Pay attention to your gut
Yeah,
and look to see if whoever's teaching the coaching program is willing to take that personalized time to help you to implement it in a way that's unique to your business, because your business is like no other business. And you need to be able to have that guidance, to have that creativity, to apply the tools in a way that's meaningful to you and meaningful to your clients. And I
thank
think
you, Kay.
Atlas and, well, everything in your different programs, I'm also a student of Right Marketing Copy that you teach so well, really has that as a hallmark of really making it your own.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this. I've taken up a lot of your time today. Thank you for being here with us. And I only want the best for you and great speed forward and everything you're doing. I know you're going to impact so much more of this world. And I'm so happy to be on that journey with you. So thank you for trusting in me and my work and being such an integral part of that tribe. Can't thank you enough for that. And
Mm.
uh, and thank you for everybody for being here. Hopefully this inspired you to do what you love to do, because there are dream clients waiting for you. So have an awesome day, Kay, and we will see you soon inside the tribe. And everybody else, have an awesome day too. Cheers.
Thank you.